do you consider yourself a feminist?
No, I'm a Christian. I'm not a feminist.
Can Christians be feminist?
I mean,
Here's why. Because the Christian ethic requires patriarchy.
Yeah,
it
that's
is
true.
a patriarchal religion, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everything from the union between a man and a woman is patriarchal. Everything from the church structure down is patriarchal. Women are not allowed to be pastors, not allowed to be priests, are not allowed to be clergy. It is a patriarchal structure, like it or not. Probably why our friend here fell off of it. But it is a patriarchal structure.
Is there a denomination that...
Well, that's actually not true, what you just said.
Well,
there
tell me
are
the
women
truth.
pastors. I've met them.
Yeah,
but
fake.
they don't follow the
Well, that's
illegal
in the Bible.
No, that's not only
But you
not
can't
only is that the
speak as though it's a
Protestant
fact
Bible, it
when
is a
it's-
fact.
When it's actually not, and that's okay. That's your belief, and I might agree with that belief. But what you're saying is not factually true.
It is factually true. What I said was that if you are a female pastor,
So you're saying
female
all the female
clergy,
pastors
all
out there
female
are not
clergy
valid.
are phony baloney.
Okay.
I think
Christians.
he's
So that's
talking
your
about the
opinion.
doctrine
Female
as
clergy-
opposed to like
listen,
what's actually
Right.
happening.
It has to be. It has to be that way.
Okay.
We can go back to the earliest church history, and we can make the determination of what was determined to be clergy. In very isolated cases, women were called in to do things like baptism, and they may have become deaconesses or things like this, but it was for a very, very limited perspective from the church's perspective. But it was mostly to do with, hey, we don't want to see girls naked. That's inappropriate. So we have women do the baptism.
Okay,
But they
all
weren't
I'm
allowed.
Going on is
hang
what
on,
you
hang
said
on.
was
Let me
not
finish.
factually
Let me
true.
finish. I'm
You
almost-
should have said
it's not factually
You should have
true.
said there are women pastors, but I don't believe
what
that they're
I said
valid.
was,
That's what
if
you
you're
should
a
have said. That would
fake,
have been factually
if you're
accurate.
no, this is factually accurate
No,
too.
that would have been
if you're a
factually
fake
accurate.
Christian, if you are a female clergy in a Christian church, you're a fake Christian. That's factually accurate. That's what I
Okay,
said.
that's your belief.
No, that's the truth. That's what
Okay.
is factual.
Well,
Is there a reason why you think that women are not capable of?
Yeah, because we have 2,000 years of church history, and we know what the saints said. And we know not only what the saints said, we know what the apostles said. And we know not only what the apostles said, but we can literally judge this all the way down to when heresy church started under Luther, and even Luther knew.
I
you
knew what
couldn't
the
have female
scientists
clergy.
said, but I didn't know why. Do you know why they said that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the patriarchal structure, which was laid down by Jesus Christ to his apostles to go and start the church, they were all headed by men. That was part of the gospel. That's why. Hang on, was there anything else that you had there? Any whys?
Yeah,
Any
because you
hows?
just named another precedent as your reason why. Is there any reason why in the fundamental mentality of the man versus a woman?
Yeah,
just
I
know
just
that
told
this
you.
is his own secular,
Yeah.
belief.
Secular?
That's what I'm asking him. Yeah.
No, I guess not more secular. Sorry, this is his own individual
Nope.
version of
No, it's not.
Christianity. It's not every
versions of
version.
Christianity.
No,
Yes,
it's
it
not
is.
every version of Christianity.
Yeah, the fake ones.
Okay, if I
The
can
fake ones.
point out all these female pastors,
They're
then I can
fake.
say it's not your version, but it's not every version
They're
of Christianity.
fake. They're
so
fake.
know that there are Christian religions that have female pastors.
Yeah, they're
he
called
doesn't
fake
subscribe
Christians.
to that, right? And guess what? The Methodists say the others are not, and these say those aren't, and the Catholics say the other ones aren't Christians, and everyone does that in Christianity. So there's a lot of
No, they don't.
nuances
Just
in
Protestants.
Christianity.
Just
So
Protestants do that.
Let's not get into all the
Protestants do what?
nuances
All
of
right,
individual
here, moving
Christianity.
on. Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I would say no.
No. Ish.
No.
Wait, no-ish? What do you mean?
Well, I do believe that, women should be offered the choice, we're human beings, but
Hold on, just one.
Living underscore donated $200. I'm fighting the inner simpism for
Don't
the
simp,
black
bro.
girl. She's great. To the girl across from Brian, thanks for coming. Would be boring without you. It's not of the
Yeah,
bad
full
life is
credit.
better than no life, I agree.
Black feminist.
The black feminist.
The black
to the black
feminist.
feminist. I do have to read one that's about to fall off before we continue. Did you want to respond to this really quick, or? I guess you can you read this for us?
Oh, wow. I don't know if I want to read this one.
Okay, starting from across Brian, ratings out of 10, 9, 3, 12, 0, 5, 4, 5, 6.5, and Andrew's obviously the peak male physique, 100 out of 10. This
Yes.
is what peak, was it that fucking thing, peak male performance looks like? I don't
That's
know.
right.
Yo, thank you, Living. Appreciate it, man. Okay.
Those
cool.
dad bods are back in style,
Cool,
I hear.
I guess. Wait, so you were saying ish, not a feminist ish. What do you mean?
Well, I do believe that women should be offered the choice, free will in that essence. Do I agree with, like new wave feminism? Not at all. I have my views, and I feel like people should be able to have their views as well, and to have their preferences. And I also think that when women are able to have the option to stay home and it's not necessarily forced, it's so much more appreciated. But also I do want to go back in time and, talk to some of the women who are like, oh, I hate having to just sit at home and take care of kids and animals all day. I want to go out into the workforce and, I want to push major university. Like,
there's actually very few of them, just so you know. The anti-suffrage, when it comes to feminism, the anti-suffragettes far outnumbered the suffragettes. Far and away outnumbered them.
So I guess the real question is, why do you think the men
allowed it?
Voted it in? Because the men were the ones that voted it in.
Because they had people like Rockefeller who were doing this mass funding behind the scenes, and there was occult roots that go all the way back to the early. Basically, Protestantism brought you feminism.
But how do you think they convinced the general male population that
exactly?
It should happen?
Wait, so you don't think we should vote? That's your view?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think women should be able to vote, but I'm not a feminist.
Yeah, but
why do you think they should be able to vote?
Why shouldn't I be able to vote?
Well, that's not my question. That's answering my question with a question.
No,
yeah, but
that is.
Do you think I should have to pay taxes?
I think I should.
Well, so
You're right. Wait. We didn't get to your.
So let's start over.
Millie, we didn't
Let's
get
start
to your
over.
Taxes.
Hang on, let's start over.
Should I pay taxes?
Your position is you should be able to vote.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, why should you be able to vote?
Because I'm an American citizen and I pay taxes.
Okay, so let's assume for a second, as you know, most people in America do not pay taxes. Do you think they should be able to vote?
Well, the problem with your reasoning is we have a law that says you can't have taxation without representation.
Yeah, so it
therefore,
doesn't. The law doesn't say that
if you're a
because there's
tax-paying American, and that's why they debate this in D.C. all the time.
That's insane.
D.C. residents are paying taxes and they don't have proper representation.
This is, first of all, this is a goalpost move. I'm not going to let you get away with it. We're going to move right back, and then I'm going to address that second point after we move right back and destroy your first point. The first point,
You're not gonna
there
destroy
are
anything.
people. Yes, I will. Watch.
No, you
There
won't.
are the first point are the first point is there are people right now who pay no taxes, right?
What about?
Should they be able to vote?
Probably not.
Okay, so
Yes.
you would agree that those
They
people
should still be able to vote.
Not arguing with you yet.
Let's do split.
So we should be able.
That is crazy.
So then, as we look at this, then we should be able to see that you want for at least some people to not be able to vote, right?
Well, I'm saying that Americans have the right to vote. That's what it
okay,
says.
so then I'm asking you an ought, not an is. I'm not asking you what is true. I'm asking you what
How
ought
about
to
let
be
me
true.
ask you a question.
You can ask
Should
me a
women
question. You have
pay
to answer
taxes?
my
Wait,
question.
Should
we
pay
got.
taxes?
We missed.
I just want to know why you think we shouldn't be able to vote.
Wait.
Like, are we that emotional?
Wait.
So anyway, so
Should
back.
women pay taxes?
Calm down, relax.
You calm down.
So emotional.
One step at a time. Yeah, telling you to calm down is me being emotional. So,
you are. You seem to be getting a little frustrated
I don't
over
know.
there.
You seem to be kind of a dumbass. You want to answer my questions.
okay.
So an ought from an
Ad
is.
hominem attacks.
Do you know what an ought and an is? Is claim, is true, ought, should happen. Should everybody be able to vote?
Who's everybody? Should Americans be able to vote?
Yes.
I don't think
Okay.
illegal immigrants should be able
Don't
to
be
vote.
pedantic. Should all Americans be able to vote?
Are all Americans required to pay taxes? at
Yes.
work? Yes.
But do all Americans pay taxes?
And guess what happens to those who aren't paying taxes? They
Nothing.
get in trouble with the IRS.
No, they don't. Most people don't pay
ma-
anything into the tax system. They're not a net positive tax system.
Well, if
What
they're
are
not
you
making
talking
an
about?
income, then they don't have
No, they
to
make an
file.
income.
No, if they're not making an income, they don't have to
Listen,
file.
no.
And therefore,
there are people who make
they wouldn't
more
be having to file.
back from
They
the
wouldn't be
government
having
on
to
an
pay.
earned income child credit than they
Okay.
pay into the government.
Okay, and that's
Should those
another
people
issue.
be able to vote?
You're still not convincing me why women
I'm
should
not
be able
trying to
vote.
convince you. I'm asking you a question. Should those people be able to vote?
But
Should American citizens be able to vote? Yes.
Well, then your argument that just because they pay taxes doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm saying
because,
that's one of the reasons
let me
why I
finish,
should
and then
be
I'll
able
let
to
you
vote.
finish. I
pay
promise.
taxes.
Let me finish, and
And
I'll let
we
you
have
finish.
a law that says
Relax,
you have
lady.
to have
Let me finish my point. I'll let you
representation.
finish your point. So, if that is true, then your original argument of, hey, wait a second, people who pay taxes, because they pay taxes, they should be able to vote. But we've just established many Americans do not pay taxes, and you still think they ought to vote. So your first argument's moot. Now let's move to the second one.
No, it's not moot.
Then explain it to me again.
I have a question.
Explain to me why women should be able to vote. I still haven't heard you explain
Okay,
anything.
I'll
know
get.
why you
I'll
brought
get. I'll get
representation
to
and
it.
taxation
I'll
if
get.
you
I
are
promise
also
you, I'll
conceding.
answer your
because
questions
we have a law
after
in
we
the
go through
United
yours.
States that says we have to have. There's a
Laws
law
are
that
changeable.
says no taxation without representation. Are women just as
Can we move past that
responsible?
point? I
What
just
law
want to
says
know
that?
why
What-
he thinks we
what
shouldn't
What
be
law
able to
says?
vote.
What law says that because you should have representation? Okay,
You don't
that
have
means
representation
everybody
if you
should be
can't
able to vote.
If you cannot vote, you do not have representation.
Okay,
They're
voting
arguing
rights-
a legal matter in D.C.
Most people
because
in
DC
American
doesn't have
history could
proper
not vote.
representation and they're
Most-
paying taxes. So
most-
therefore, it's in violation of the
No,
law.
it's not. Most
Yes, it
men
is.
and women, first of all, voting rights are affirmed in the negative. You know this, right? They're affirmed in the negative. There is no right to vote because you have no right
They're
to
negative
do
rights,
anything.
is what he's saying.
They're negative rights. Negative rights, not positive rights. Meaning you don't have to do any of these things, and they're only affirmed in the negative. States,
you don't have to vote.
States themselves used to always
But
be
you
the
have the
ones
right.
who had jurisdiction over this. Now, when it came to voting itself, and when it comes to voting, even right this second, all the laws say is that if there is a vote, you can't be barred based on X, Y, and Z. Not that there even has
I
to
think
be
you're
one.
actually
Actually used to
avoiding.
need to,
I
like,
think
serve
you're
in the
actually
military
avoiding
to
explaining
vote.
why women shouldn't be able to vote. So,
So-
you tell me, why should women not be able to vote?
Okay, so I'm going to answer, but I want to promise from you that we're going to go right back to this, so that because I'm not going to let you weasel out of it.
I didn't weasel
by an
out of
incessant
it.
peppering of
I answered your question
without answering any.
and you're asking the same
No,
question repetitively.
because
So
I have already shown a
answer my
flaw in
question.
your logic.
There's no flaw in the logic
well,
there.
I'll explain the
explained it
flaw
to you.
again. The flaw is, if your argument is people who pay taxes should be able to vote, we've already established there's multiple people who don't pay taxes, so why ought they be able to vote? Your answer is duh.
That's not my answer.
Then what's your answer?
I said that Americans are supposed to be able to vote. They're supposed to have representation. There are tax-paying
Based on law,
women.
right?
Are there women that pay
We're
taxes?
talking about an ought. We're talking about an ought, not
Are
an
there women that
is.
pay taxes?
Yes, of course.
So they should. You're saying they should not be able
My
to vote?
argument is not that taxpayers should be able to vote. That's your argument.
Okay. I'm saying women should be able to vote.
I know, and I'm asking you why.
Other than
I'm
taxation.
saying women have a right to vote because we're American citizens. We're
That
taxpayers.
is true. Why
We're property
ought-
owners.
but-
We have a stake in the interests of the country.
Should only property
we should
be
have
able?
representation.
Okay, so should only property owners be able to vote?
Everyone should be able to vote.
So
What if
we're-
we say
'cause-
that? It's a
'cause
human right
again-
to be able to vote. Then why cannot
the
women
problem-
vote? Stop arguing with her and just tell
the
us why
problem-
you don't think
human
women
No,
rights.
vote.
I'm gonna finish my argument over here. So anyway,
Okay.
we have to distinguish an ought from an is. You
and
keep
you
on saying
still
it is
are
true.
refusing to say you're the one who
Yes, I'm gonna
initially
get
came
to
out
it.
and said you think women should not
Yes,
be allowed
that's
to
correct.
vote, and you still haven't even made a sound argument.
because you gave me your reasoning first. So I'm just going through your line
No,
of
we
reasoning.
spoke about one thing. I have many reasons why I believe this, and you're honing
Now,
in on one
I will
thing.
give you my reasoning, and we can see if there's any flaw in my argumentation. Men are the enforcers of rights. And because they're the enforcers of rights, they deserve to have all the privileges that comes with enforcement. Women are not the enforcement of rights, including for other women. Only men can enforce the rights of women. Therefore, only men should be able to have the stake and the claim to vote. Period.